Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another superb episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. I'm your host, that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always on the go, catch him if you can, fresh off a trip from Tokyo, Japan, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. But it's not about me. You see, we have a special guest tonight, and this woman is actually responsible for us, the fans, knowing who is going to be taking part in the following match, which is for one fall.
One fall.
And there you go. And she's doing it in the great state of Georgia. Shout out to all my folks, all the great people in Georgia. Man, every time I go there, I gain 10 pounds. But everybody, welcome to this show, the ever so talented, the people's princess of professional wrestling, Salem Alexander. How you doing tonight?
Oh my God! Hold on, let me take in the applause. I can hear all the applause and all the cheering. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mwah, mwah, thank you so much, everybody. Oh my gosh. How you doing tonight, Remy?
I'm great. I'm great. I just had a crazy day running, lots of running around. Started like four, it's like I like to say 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not exactly a morning person, which is why my day job is much later in the afternoon. But had to do some running around. On the flip side, I saw the new Karate Kid movie, and but that was it pretty much. I mean, just a crazy day today.
No, I know how that is for sure. But look, you're ending it so beautifully with me of all people.
Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at you.
yeah,
Oh,
man. Yeah, always great to end the day with a Ringside Society episode. So, I got to say, first off, if nobody has told you before, you're going to hear from us here at Ringside Society on behalf of myself and the rest of my team. And if you've heard it before, you're going to hear it again. But thank you for ring announcing and doing what you do. A lot of people think it's just standing in the squared circle and announcing names, but it's not. It's actually a lot more than that. You have to make sure you get the competitor's information correct. You can't say, "Oh, coming into the ring, mispronouncing their name," and then you even worse, you build them from somewhere like, "Hey, the worldwide starboy Remy Blue from Los Angeles, California." No, I'm not from LA. I mean, it's a great city, but I'm from Georgetown, Guyana. Get it right, or Delaware's greatest hero, Rob Bass, who likes chicken and tofu. No, he likes chicken and beef with his burritos, and and Delaware's greatest American hero, Rob Bass. So I know it's not easy. I was a bell ringer for an event one time, and even that you had to be focused. I was nervous when I did
everything.
that. So
Every job in the business is so like illustrious. Like there's nothing that's like trivial. Like everything is important.
yeah. Well, we're gonna get into your ring announcing career, but before we get into that, I gotta ask you. I would be remiss if I didn't. How did you become a fan of professional wrestling? What was the match or the event that made you go, "Yo, I'm hooked. I'm tuning in next week, the week after, the month after. Y'all got me for life."
Can I be honest with you?
Sure, go ahead.
It literally was not before the 2023 Royal Rumble. The men's Royal Rumble specifically, that's the first one that I watched
Mm.
that and I was like, no, this is what I've been missing all my life. I was not a wrestling fan before 2023, but ever since that day, I watched it like 2 days after it aired. And so ever since then, it's been nonstop wrestling for the past 2 years. Every time I tell somebody like I've only been a fan for 2 years, they're like, "What are you talking? 2 years? Like you seem like you." I'm like, "Yeah." I know that surprises me too, but it was the men's Royal Rumble that really got me in that. Cody Rhodes, ooh, that man right there. I love me some Cody Rhodes. When he won it, I was like, you know what? Let me find out what this wrestling sentence is. Let me find out what this is about. I'm trying to see more of that Cody Rhodes guy.
Oh wow, awesome. So you want me to tell you a secret? You want me to tell you a secret? Those of y'all that are watching and listening, come close to the screen. We all started somewhere as a fan. We were all 2-year wrestling fans at one point. I've been watching for 35 years, and I was a wrestling fan in 1992. And guess what? That's 2 years. I started watching in 1990. So don't feel bad. don't feel any way, you know, um, we were all there, and you have you have something that I didn't have back in the day, because once I became a fan, I was hooked, and I wanted to know what came before the years I actually started watching. And I only had at the time I only had um old wrestling magazines, and I had old VHS tapes, which I rarely had access to because I lived in Guyana. So I didn't have that. But now you have the wonderful gift that is YouTube, and you can go and see all the wrestling that happened before 2023. You could see like who was your favorite wrestler growing up? Or well, not growing up, but like who's your favorite wrestler?
Actually, no, I can't answer that though because my favorite wrestler growing up was Roman Reigns. He was literally the only wrestler I knew from age 10 to like 19. Literally, I didn't know anybody but Roman Reigns. I knew like John Cena, but I knew him from the Fred movies. I knew The Rock, but I'm like it's just The Rock. But Roman Reigns was my favorite wrestler growing up for sure.
Okay, well, you can now watch Roman Reigns. You can now watch Roman Reigns when he was in the Shield. With Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. You can go back and watch. John Cena's retiring right now. You're catching the tail end, pretty much catching the tail end of his career. You can catch him when he was a rapper, freestyle on everybody. When Randy Orton was a pretty boy before you started hearing voices. YouTube is a great thing, and I know right now you're probably gonna go right on YouTube when we're done here. And what's Remy talking about? Randy Orton was a pretty boy. John,
No.
John Cena was a rapper. What? The Usos wore paint on their face. Wait, Mister, 4 words, four letters, 1 word. Yeet was actually wearing palm trees on his tights and he was wearing paint on his face. What? Wait, Naomi was a dancer in the Funkadactyls with another.
Hmm.
I gotta go see this. So trust me,
It's so funny you say that.
You've probably seen it already, man. But keep
Like
looking YouTube
literally,
for more crazy
everything. I'm
things.
like, yep, I was there. In the beginning of my career, I made sure to go back and watch all that. I was watching even Total Divas. I know me some Trinity and Cameron. You know what I mean? Like I've been in that lifestyle. That's what I say. Like when I say 2 years, they're like, really? Like you do have the knowledge of like previous years. I'm like, I went back. I did some
If
research for sure.
if I could commend you, I don't want to come across as racist because people are gonna be like, Remy, where you pulling the race card? You right now, what you are doing, you are inspiring black women, and not just black women, but women of color, and not only women of color, but women in general. Because what you're doing right now is something I don't think I've ever heard of before, and that is you um becoming a fan 2 years ago, and now you're in the business as a ring announcer. So I have never heard of anybody um getting that's been on this show ever doing that. So I give my kudos to you. That is hella impressive. And we're
Thank
gonna
you,
talk
thank
about that.
you.
We're gonna talk about that now because you know, I gotta ask, how did it all start? How'd you go from, Salem Alexander, wrestling fan, to now Salem Alexander, the people's prince of pro wrestling, who is the ring announcer that lets us know who we're seeing in the ring?
I'm not gonna lie. The way to my journey of ring announcing has been like so. Like the beginning was so crazy. Like I didn't have any training. I'm not trained for this, so I was really just like asking my friends like Chainmail. You might know him, who does a Dynamic Wrestling Association down here in Georgia.
Who was
I
that?
actually Chainmail.
Chainmail.
Everybody loves me, loves me,
You know,
loves me.
you
He's
know, I,
he's a
I,
hot guy.
we probably know him just by seeing, and if we didn't, we're probably going to end up adding him, following him after this. So, um, yeah, we'll probably end up seeing him eventually.
Oh, you
But go
trust me,
ahead.
you
My
will.
apologies.
You definitely will. But yeah, so my technical start um into ring announcing, I was at this show and the ring announcer that I heard doing the show wasn't necessarily the best.
Mm.
They were like I would see people coming out and I'm like, okay, who is that? Like, you can't hear anybody on the mic, or when they are on the mic, it's, very low, very muffled, like that. So I asked the guy running it, I was like, are you looking for an announcer? You know what I mean? And one day he was like, you know what? Yeah, he gave me the mic after the show, and I literally never did it before, but I was like, I mean, I asked him for it, so it's now or never. And he queued up 3 entrances, and I was like, going, going, going. Everybody was after the show. They was like, no, like, you're really good. You need to do this. We need you here. And I'm like, oh my god, okay. And so I actually ended up not doing it there at that promotion. But like I said, Chainmail, he saw me. He was like, hey man, like, my best friend of 26 years does my shows at DWA, but you have something. I want you to come in and do a match at my show. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. But his friend ended up getting sick. So I did the entire show by myself. Never done before. Like I said, no training. So in terms, like you said, mistakes and all that, I had a lot of mistakes because of my nerves were so bad. And like I was really blacking out on stage. I'm like, did I even say, like, did I say that? Like, the nerves were there 100%. But because I had the voice for it, people were encouraging me. They were like, no, you got to keep this up. Like, you're going to get there in no time. And I did. This was literally, the DWA performance was in last November. It was the end of last November. So here we are, literally 6 months to the day of my first ever performance. And look at where we are now. Isn't that insane? I didn't even realize this was 6 months to the day. That's crazy.
That's awesome, man. Happy 6 months, and keep on doing what you're doing. That you rose to the occasion, and you knocked it out of the park, and keep on doing it. And like I said, I know it's not easy, and you know if I could tell you this, I think I know I told our guests this yesterday. I don't know if I told Faith, hey Faith, how you doing? I
I
don't know if I
love
told
it.
I don't know if I told I don't know if I told Faith this, but I tell everybody when they're starting out on something, always remember the people that remember the compliments you receive, forget the insults. I got that from a spoken word track called Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen, which, if you haven't heard it, it is a gem. I believe it's a hidden gem, and I would recommend you check it out. Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen. It's by Boz. I think Boz Lerman did the video, and somebody else did the spoken word, but it has certain advice in regards to life. And that was one of the things he said. Remember the compliments you receive, forget the insults. And to add on to that, Dwayne the Rock Johnson actually said, when people say negative things about what you're doing, it's them showing their own limitations. I'm telling you, I dare you, let somebody say, "Ooh, you can't ring announce," and put them on the spot right there and then. And I guarantee you, 9.9 times out of 10, they can't. They can't do what you do. And if they're able to do what you do, then guess what? That means they're just showing off and insecure in themselves, and they're afraid that you take their spot. So keep on going, sister. You got this. But I gotta ask you, was there ever an announcement that you made that you thought you messed up on, and the person was like, "Yo, Salem, yo, you nailed, you knocked it out the park like a home run, girl." Like, was there anybody that have you ever had that yet?
I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh. Like, there are a few. Well, my thing usually is like, I'll think I did worse than I did, and I'll go up to them. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, and they're like, what are you sorry for? Like, no, that was great. So that happens a lot. Like, I've been like, oh my god, guys, I don't know why I said that. And they're like, no, you did that great. Like, you really did that great. I can't even name like a specific like person, because and this is like going to sound like braggy, but it's not, because I've never, like, to my face, and I've never received any like negative criticisms or like insults about my announcing. Every time that I've ever done it, from the very beginning up until now, it's always been, oh my god, you're so good. Oh my god, like, we need you here. Like, you're better than live. Like, oh my god. So I just like, thank you guys. Like, honestly, like, I in the beginning, like I said, like, I was very nervous a lot. I used to make like very like mistakes. Like, I'd be like, one thing I remember, like, my very first performance, and I never talked to him about this because it was so sad. It breaks my heart. But Liam Gray of the Skulk came out, and I know he's a part of the Skulk. Like I said, I was a fan first, so I am a big fan of the tag team, the Skulk, him and Adrian Alanis. But
Mhm.
as I'm on the mic and I'm seeing him in front of me, I'm like, And his opponent from Atlanta, Georgia, representing, and my mind just blanked. I cannot think. I was like, for 3 4 seconds, and I just had to move on. I was like, accompanied by his manager, Ayla, you know what I mean? So that I was like, I never even. I was like, you know what? We're done. We're not even gonna talk about that. But luckily, I've got to announce for him 2 times after that, and we made up for it. We did make up for it, especially last month at NLCW. That's all that matters.
Wow, you mentioned the Skulk. I remember that I came across those guys' names. Just Liam Gray, Leon Ruff, Adrian Alanis, and there was a guy called Tommy Maserati in there as well. Oh, and Bobby Flacco apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wonder if those guys will ever reunite, man. It would be kind of nice, you know. Well, wait, did they reunite already?
I've personally only seen Liam and Leon and Adrian together. I see Bobby a lot, but I don't see him in any groups except for his Bob Squad.
Okay,
And
okay,
I'm
okay.
not familiar with other two guys. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Tommy, because I tend to look up people at times because what I do with Ringside Society is like for example, if you started wrestling, oh snap, Salem's wrestling on AEW or WWE. Wow, that's cool. Let me look up let me see what's going on here on Cage Match. Wait a minute. Her and Faith Apollo were a tag team? Yo, I mean I probably can't get Salem, but let's see what Faith is doing. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what let's hear about Faith's story. And I did that with I did that with I don't know if you remember this tag team, but if you do, if you don't, definitely check them out and recommend it. The Gangsters, which was the team of New Jack and Mustafa Said. And people were like, "Oh, the Dark Side of the Ring had um, the the life and crimes of New Jack," and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Okay, I get it, but what about Mustafa Said? It takes two to tango. It's the
Right.
gangsters, not the gangster. Let's get Mustafa on the show and have him on there." And he was a great interview, by the way. Shout out to Mustafa
Oh
Said.
wow.
Definitely a great show, but yeah, yeah, the Skulk Man. I definitely remember hearing about those guys. Definitely I say one of the top tag teams in Atlanta from what I've seen.
Oh, there the goes. I absolutely. I don't like to give Liam Gray his props because it goes to his head, honestly. But they are they're amazing. They are truly awesome guys.
So I gotta ask you, man, like the Georgia scene, would you say it's packed right now? Because we have had countless guests on here that have actually been that are based in Georgia. We've had people from the Nightmare Factory, we've had people from WBA four. We've had legends like Air Paris, who was AJ Styles' tag team partner in WCW. Would you say it's that the scene down there is packed right now, and like every week there's a show to go to or several shows to go to?
My love, this has been. I genuinely believe that we might have the most packed like wrestling scene outside of like California, New York, Texas, like Atlanta, Georgia wrestling is on fire. And I've only like been watching indie wrestling for a year now. My first introduction was Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling, and then I got into action wrestling. I genuinely believe I've gone to like 120 shows in the past year because there's always something. There is not a single week that goes by where I don't have a show. And it's not even in terms of working. Like as a fan, I would have 3 4 day weekends back to back to back to back. I would have Thursday Night Live at the WWA 4. You got the Action Fridays. You got Renegade Independent Pro Wrestling. Now we got NTW. You know what I mean? There's so much wrestling here. I tell you, I can find a new show every day without even trying to. I'll be talking to my friends. They'll be like, hey, you got to go to such and such? And I'll be like, I am now. You know what I mean? I was just talking to Landon Hale. He was like, come on down to PWE, Phoenix Wrestling Experience. And I was like, you got me there. You sure do got me there for sure. Like it, Georgia wrestling is amazing, and it is so powerful. It's booming. It's absolutely booming.
Man, you had me when you said Turnbuckle Championship because that's a legendary promotion. Dusty Rhodes used to run that, and now it's ran by Cody and I believe one of his sisters. Wow,
Mm-hmm. Heel. Yep.
that's amazing, man. Like I would love to go to one of their shows one day. Um, Definitely a lot of history with that promotion, man. I hope they have a long. I hope they have a lot of longevity. And but then again, with Cody and Teal behind it, I think they'll be okay. They're
Yeah, they also got QT Marshall over there. Got Billy Gunn. They have this new company called One Fall Wrestling, and that one is popping off really fast, like really, really fast. They have this show coming up. They got Harley Cameron out there, Tony Schiavone. I'm like, oh my, okay.
What? Y'all doing it big, like big. I'm gonna have to move to Georgia, man. I don't know. New York. I mean, New York.
You actually have to like.
But you see, here's the thing. Okay, if I move to Georgia, I'm gonna eat so much that when I'm ready to take a vacation to like back to New York or LA or maybe some foreign country, I won't be able to fit on the plane that I came to Georgia in the first place. I'd have to buy two seats. So that's the thing, because y'all got some great food down there, man.
Right, that's the
It's
risk you're gonna have to be willing to take. To be honest, like it's
don't
worth
let
it.
me,
Trust me, it's worth it.
I'm a foodie at heart, and don't get me started with the world of Coca-Cola. Oh geez.
Like we have it all down here, and
Man,
like I said, we have all the wrestling, all of the wrestling, genuinely.
yeah. So in regards to your ring announcing, is there anybody, whether it's a ring announcer, whether it's a wrestler, whether it's even a musical artist that you pull that inspires you? You could list
I
more than
take
one. I
Yeah, I
mean,
take a lot of inspiration from like WWE announcers that I grew up on, like Alicia Taylor and Samantha Irvin. I don't necessarily take inspiration from them, but I also really do admire like Mike Rome and Justin Roberts. I love the homegrown announcers here too, like Diana Michelle. I love my girl Diana Michelle. I love Scott Hemsley from Action Wrestling. That guy is a beast. I also love Carmen Michael Childers. That like those are my top announcers, genuinely. With them,
oh,
I'm good for life. I'm set.
oh man, I should have got my notebook up, man, because you called some names there that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to search those people out. Maybe tell you what, just DM us those names and we'll try to look out for them, man. Because like I said, we all try to get more people, not just wrestlers, but just like ring announcers and referees in general, just to give the viewers and listeners, stories from each aspect, each side of professional wrestling. So,
For sure. I
um,
would love like I'm gonna hit Diana up and be like, "Hey, girly pop, I wanted you on this podcast because Diana Michelle, like, genuinely is one of
send
my favorite announcers of all time, and she has
send her to
such a
us.
great career. Like, you love to talk to her.
Hey, you saw what happened with you. We saw you make your comments.
You
I'm like,
got me immediately.
oh really? All right, we gonna have a. I see H bomb over there too. He making some H bomb. Guess what? We coming for you too, Ninja. Nah, let me stop
Ah,
with that
I
book.
love you, H bomb. You the bomb.
Yeah, but yeah, just send them over and we'll try to make it happen, man. It's just like I said, I tell people I'm like Professor X. Like it's not a matter if I could have somebody on the show, but who I should have and when. I got this person in Georgia, I got that person over in Florida, but across the country, I got a person in California. Then I got somebody up north in Boston. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot. But you mentioned Alicia Taylor. I think Alicia Taylor is one of the most underrated women, and I mean, she doesn't have the enthusiasm as well, her enthusiasm is not as crazy as Samantha Irvin's, but I think that she can hold her own, and you
hmm
know, she is a and she's a rock star. That's the crazy thing. That's the
That
crazy
lady's so
thing.
awesome. And people like I don't like that comparing game for real, because there's been so many times where I've been in comment sections after like watching Alicia do her thing. I'm like, oh my god, girlie, like, oh, that's so awesome. I can't wait for us to be coworkers. And then I go in the comments, well, she ain't no Samantha Urban, she ain't no whoa, whoa. Two separate women with two separate styles doing their own thing. And I feel like they're both doing well, Samantha doesn't anymore, but they both are great at what they do. And like you said, it's not the same enthusiasm. Her voice isn't as high, and she doesn't, do all the personalized special ones like Vic Kaiser. You know what I mean? But her voice is so strong. It's so strong, and you can really feel it. I love you, Taylor.
Yeah, yeah. Samantha had a way like she would say things like, like you got Chelsea, she's like Chelsea Green, and I'd be like cracking up, like,
That's literally one
where
of my
did you
favorite
get
ones.
that
I used to
from?
try to imitate that all the time, and I'm like, ugh. Like that's my thing is like I say I don't take inspiration from anybody because like I before I became an announcer, like I tried. I used to be in my room like doing voice notes like the following content, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, I don't sound like those girls. I don't sound like Alicia. I don't sound like Samantha. You know who I do sound like though? Salem Alexander,
There
one
you
of one,
go. The
one of
people,
one.
the people's princess of pro wrestling. That's who you got. It's okay to have inspiration, but I always say, don't try to be your inspiration. Write your own story, leave your own legacy. So,
Mm.
and you're doing great. You're doing great. You trust me. You're definitely gonna, be. You're definitely your own person. Yeah. So I just got like pretty much like roughly three more questions. So my third to last question. All right. In regards to the people's princess, you say you're the people's princess of pro wrestling. Um, how did that come about? I'm not knocking it. It's nice. I like it. You know, how'd you come about with that? Or was it one of the guys or girls that gave you that? I like the crown and everything too. I think that's cool.
You see, you the tiara, yes.
Not crown,
So
tiara.
I will admit that
Pardon
it's
me.
very much like self-proclaimed. I was like, you guys mind if I call myself the people's princess? You know what I mean? Because like in the beginning of my career, the first I didn't do anything in December. So like the first like the first performance and then the few that I had in like January, February, I was so nervous. I was like, I didn't really do like I did a good job, but like I was not as well as I could be because my anxiety and I was like, I'd get in there and get straight out. Like I wouldn't like work with the crowd or anything. I would just the following contest, I'd just do my job. I would be friends with the people in the locker room. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a very big portion of my success is the fact that I was able to make friends as a fan. Like I literally knew all these guys as a fan. So that makes announcing for them 10 times sweeter. You know what I mean? And so as I started to get more comfortable in myself, I would start, talking to the guys more, interacting with all the locker room, now I'm interacting with everybody in the crowd. I'm standing behind after the shows, chatting with the fans, for 20, 30 minutes. I'm having a good time doing it because these people, they appreciate me and what I'm here to do. And I appreciate them for being here. And I'm like, this is what it's about. Like, I genuinely feel like the people's princess. Like, I have so much fun like not being in my head anymore. I get out there. I'd be out there before the show. I'd be out there halfway during the show. I'd be sitting in the crowd sometimes. There was this show I had in Augusta that I was literally in the crowd for. I was like, y'all mind if I'm the people's princess. I should announce to the people. They're like, yeah, you know what I mean. So that's that's how it came about. I've been a self-proclaimed princess for about a month and a half now. You're muted, Remy. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. I didn't. My bad. I tend to do that sometimes. But that's awesome. Plus, you're living it up with the tiara and everything. That's kind of like me with my nickname, the Worldwide Starboy. It's like it was just a name I came up with because I was like, I'm always traveling. I mean, I was in Japan at the time, and I was like, I've been to Canada. I'm from Guyana. I've been to several parts of America. You know what? I'm the worldwide star. Plus, I'm always doing some video, and obviously I'm the star of the video. I'm the worldwide star boy. There you go. Starboy is like a photographer, but it's a West Indian nickname for somebody who's like the star of the movie. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'll give myself that name. And I've actually lived up to that. I've been to Japan. Last year I did 4 countries: Amsterdam, London, Tokyo. What was the other one? I went back home to Guyana, and hopefully this year I could do the same. But yeah, but that's great that you're living up to. You're not just saying it, you're living up to it.
Right. I was like, because I was thinking about it. I was talking to Faith. Literally, I was talking to Faith one day, and I was like, I literally be feeling like the people's princess. And I put a poll on my story. I was like, you guys mind if I call myself the people's princess? And they were like, yeah, people's princess. Yeah, yeah, people's
There
princess.
you go.
And
There you
I
go.
got this tiara actually at a non wrestling event. I had a tattoo expo that I did for 3 days. And one of the competitions were offering little tiaras. And I was like, y'all got a lot of them up here. I am the people's princess. Can I have one? They're like, yeah, go ahead. Like, they was like, we need you to have one. Actually, I finished out the expo in it, and then I've just been wearing it to every show since.
Wow, that's cool. That's great. They gave you a tiara. Like, yeah, you need this. So my second to last question. Um, in regards to the ring announcing, do you think you're gonna just stay there, or do you see yourself branching out to, like maybe, backstage interviewing, commentating? Um, You know, maybe you'll become a referee or a manager. You know, not I can tell you right now, not every wrestler could talk. Not every wrestler's great on the mic. They could use, the people's prince of pro wrestling to, say some words for them. I mean, have you ever thought about branching or maybe even becoming a pro wrestler yourself?
Let me tell you what, I'm so glad you asked that because yes to literally all those things. My goal was literally to start wrestling and then retire to announcing commentating. But like I said, I went to that one show and I was like, oh, I can't I can't do this anymore. So it literally jumped out of my career and I ended up doing it the opposite way. I was like, when I first started, like in January, February, I was like, you know what? I have all the perks of being a wrestler with none of the pain. I'm gonna stay here. But then I
There you
started
go.
getting itchy and I was like, hey, let me get a chop. Can I get a chop? Can somebody chop? I would just start taking chops, and I'd be like, you know what? I want to wrestle. So I am gonna start training at Platinum Championship Wrestling in the very near future. I have already done actually commentary. I did a commentate. I commentated a match for a Change Two. It was Rose Gold versus Savannah Evans, and that was like so awesome sauce. And yeah, it was just color comments, nothing crazy. I do want to do backstage interviewing. I had an opportunity that I fumbled a couple months ago. I almost had the opportunity to interview GCW World Champion Effie, but I was too far in my head. I was too far in my head, and I said no, thank you. And I was like, why did I? But that will come in the near future. Refereeing, I'm not gonna lie, that's the one job I do not want to touch. I've done the goddamn bell ringing, I've done the announce, I do not want to referee unless it's like specifically for guest refereeing. That's because that job I commend every referee. That is so hard. I don't know how you do it. I can't. I don't even want to put that stress on myself.
It's times like this. I wish Rob was here because Rob would probably tell you like how it is because Rob is a referee, so he would probably be the best person to tell you how it is for him. Um, I know refereeing is not easy either. I mean, you got to be constantly looking at what they're doing and making the calls and whatnot. If they're on the rope too long, you got to do the count and everything. So that's why I tell people, man, like refereeing it's not easy. It's not just you standing up and doing a 3 count, when the person gets pinned. There's a lot that goes with it. So, but I'll tell you one thing. Whenever you become a pro wrestler, when you have your debut match, we call dibs on the interview. We gonna have you back on here for part two.
I got you, man. I got
Um,
you. It's becoming a
you
lot
know,
sooner than you think, seriously. And I also, you know what? I do want to become like a manager because I am a great talker. I am a great talker. And there are some guys, Fade Area Militia. If you are familiar with Fade Area Militia down here, I love the Fade. So if I could become a manager for Fade Area Militia, the Sun God, the hero killer Eddie Hendricks, okay, I would love to do something of the sorts. Absolutely. That'll be my next little money move right there.
hey, go for it all. Go for it all. You know. Um, so my last question before we shut this show down. In 5 years, where does the People's Prince of Pro Wrestling see herself?
Looking in the camera as I say this. In 5 years, the People's Princess of Professional Wrestling, Salem Alexander, will be in the Fed. I will be in World Wrestling Entertainment. I will be a ring announcer for the WWE. And I'm going to stand on that.
Awesome. You know something? I hope it happens for you. Like The Rock said, I'm quoting The Rock again. Being consistent, being persistent gets you there, and being consistent keeps you there. So I'm hoping for that. If when we see you on WWE, we'll be like, "Yo, she made it! Yo, she's on
And
TV."
I never forget my homegrowns. I never forget my day ones. Everybody getting the yacht when I get up there.
And I'll tell you right now, we've had. I don't know if you listened when I think we were talking to. I don't know if you listened to the whole thing when we talked to Faith Apollo. We were like, yeah, we had Roxanne Perez on the show. We had Maddie Rankowski, and now they're signed to WWE. I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
it can happen.
Me
You never
next.
know.
Me and Dante Darko next. Yup.
There you go. There you go. So I just gotta say, man, Salem, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this. We really and truly appreciate it. We wish you nothing but the best. We hope you get to reach all your goals in pro wrestling. And like I said, once you get to WWE, don't forget us little people over here, especially us over here at Ringside Society. And before we shut this show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out where your next performances or appearances, purchase, Salem Alexander merchandise? Where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
You can find me on the Instagram. I try to have Facebook. They kept disabling me. You can find me on the Instagram at Sweet Daddy Sal. You heard it right. Sweet like sugar, daddy like Papa, Sal like Salem. Sweet Daddy Sal. Everything is on there where I'll be, what I got going on all the time. Even the shows I'm just attending as a fan, I be promote my friends and what they got going on. You can find everything on Instagram. Sweet Daddy Sal.
Awesome. Is it on Twitter too? Because we found a Sweet Daddy Sound on Twitter.
That is me
Oh,
on
okay,
Twitter. I
okay.
just don't be on there. I literally just I forget I have Twitter. I'm not gonna lie, yo.
Okay, I will say this. Go on there, but go on there cautiously because
Oh, they're
some of
crazy.
these some of these fans, oh geez, it's I don't know. They could be toxic, but half the time I don't even watch what they say. So, but I just know that some of them they could be very toxic. So just
Yeah, I
proceed
try to stay
cautiously if you
off.
decide to do that.
I stay
If
off
you
of all
decide,
social media except for Instagram because ain't nobody treat me wrong on Instagram. All my comments looking very, very nice. All my likes looking very, very nice, and I'm gonna keep it that way for sure.
yeah. And if anything else, if anybody says otherwise, just hey, you know what? Keep that block game strong, man. You know what I'm saying?
Every time, for
All
sure.
right,
Before we go, if I may, can I shout out some people that have helped
good.
me come here along the way
Hey,
for
this
my
is your
special
spotlight.
6 month anniversary? My 6 month anniversary, y'all. I'm gonna shout out some people that I really love and have really helped me along the way that I fuck with. Thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the following people: Faith Apollo and Dante Darko, Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Darko. I love y'all. You do it all for me. I love y'all so much. God bless you. Neji Ichiban, the prince and princess. Neji Ichiban and Stella Randy. God bless y'all. I love y'all so much. Landon Hale. If you're familiar with him, can I get a hell yeah? I love you, Landon Hale. Thank you so much for being here along the way. You know you one of my first as a fan, and the fact that you're still here, you're my goat. I also want to give a shout out to Fade Area Militia one more time. I love Fade Area Militia. T3K, I love you, especially you're my goat. KJ Valentine, Jay Tyler, D Money, Rico Gonzalez, Edward Draven. Thank you so much for sending me the jobs that you do and helping me get put on all these promotions. Cause y'all know I ain't got no Facebook. Without y'all, my jobs will be zilch. Thank y'all so much. Alexandra Quinn, the crash out cutie. Alexandra Quinn, I love you so much. I love you for everything you do. Thank you, girl. Every single woman in wrestling. Every single woman in wrestling who's a girl's girl. I love y'all. Nikki Heat, Stella, Randy, Alexandria Quinn, like I said. Freaking, oh my God. Corinne Joy, Isabella Wilder. I love my women in wrestling. Y'all are awesome, okay? The PCW locker room. I love y'all. My family at Platinum Championship Wrestling. I love y'all so much. I love the good hand. If you're familiar with the good hand, put your good hand up. Especially Alex Kane. I love you, Alex Kane, the suplex assassin. You know you my brother. Okay. I also got to give a shout out to Amy Haven over at NLCW, Alana, Platinum Championship Wrestling, Chad Skywalker, Mr. Chad Skywalker, the booker of Answer the Bell, and Chainmail for getting me these jobs and having me on your shows. Thank you, people, so much. These are the people that I am accrediting to my success. Truly, I love each and every one of y'all. Top team in general. Top team on top. I love top team. We're going to have a great rest of the year, and I thank y'all so much. Thank you for letting me shout out my homegrowns.
Awesome. I actually mistook you and Alexander Quinn for the same person. Alexander Quinn is the same person. I was like, is that Alexander Quinn or is that Salem Alexander? I mean, you both have the same Alex in your name. So
Low
hey,
key, that's my twin. That's twin them.
maybe it's a sign I gotta get her on here. So, but yes. So for those of you that heard, make sure you follow this woman. This woman, she is phenomenal, and make sure you follow all those other names she followed too. A lot of great men and women there, in the state of Georgia. So make sure you follow them, and because you never know, you might see them on WWE or AEW one day or TNA, and you'll be like, "Yo, I followed them from day one." You know what I'm saying? So it's always a good feeling. So when you follow somebody, at the beginning of their journey and before they make the big time. So hit that follow button on Salem Alexander, and hit the follow button on the rest that she mentioned too as well. And with that being said, it is about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order, but before I partake in those activities, if you want to find me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to a lot of cool places. You can definitely find me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Blue Sky at remyblue.bsky.social. I'm also on Facebook as Remy Blue as well. And our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society, Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Blue Sky as well at ringsidesociety.bsky.social. We're on Facebook with a Facebook group, and we're also on Spotify. And we also have a Teespring store where you can sell where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have coffee mugs, we have three designs right now. I think it's two or three designs right now. Check us out. All proceeds go back into keeping our show afloat. And last but not least, we have a YouTube channel where you can see cool interviews like this one, like the one we had yesterday with Luisa Fernanda from Miami, and the one before that with Apollo's Kitchen CEO and owner Faith Apollo. You can see all those interviews on YouTube. And to see them, it's very simple. It's not even pre-algebra. Go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society. And once you see that really good looking dark blue and light blue, yin yang sound of blue with the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. As a matter of fact, since it's Friday and it's been a somewhat good day, I'm going to tell y'all right now, next week we will be having none other than Zamir Zuriel on our show. He will be back on our show. This is the second time being back on our show, and we're gonna get a little update as to what's going on with him as well. And we might have a few other guests sometime around next week. You know, we tend to call things by era time, so definitely stay tuned to that. And with that being said, we just want to thank everybody for tuning in live tonight. Thank you very much. We strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could, should, and would listen to, and we're not going to stop being that. For those of you that are going to listen later on, we get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we would just go away. Well, like myself at Golden Corral, we're not going anywhere for a while. So with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well. And we see, it's not a secret to us. And we get it. Everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag, we are not the same. So I'm going to say it right now. One time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, one time for the Georgia wrestling scene, and one time for the people's princess of pro wrestling, Salem Alexander. We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. We'll be back next week with another impressive guest on another impressive episode. But until then, we just have four favors for y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and enjoy wrestling. We out. Peace.